Good afternoon. I'd like to call the committee meeting today to order, and we will have a roll call. Ms. Parker.
Chair Warden,
Present.
Dr. Williams,
Present.
George Archuleta,
Here.
Virginia Houston,
Present.
Ann Pereza, here, Rodney Walton,
Here.
Daniel Spence.
Here.
Board Member Houston. Ethics Clearance Statement.
Welcome to the September 19th, 2022 meeting of the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Board of Education. It is my duty to remind members of the board that it is our responsibility to avoid all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest in accordance with Chapter 138A of North Carolina General Statutes. As public servants, it's our duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage our personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflicts or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board this evening? That the record reflect that no conflicts exist.
At this time, I need a motion from the floor to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for September 19th, 2022.
And a second? Second. All in favor, a roll call, please.
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
George Archuleta,
Yes.
Virginia Houston,
Yes.
Ann Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton,
Yes.
Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Thank you. We will begin today with our agenda items, the financial committee, and I'm going to call on Assistant Superintendent of Finance, Rachel Haynes, to give us some reports.
Chair Warden, Vice Chair Williams, board members, good afternoon. The first item on the agenda this evening for finance is FPT 01. It's the rental report. It's for information. The second item on the list is FPT 02, and that's purchase orders over $30,000 for August 2022. Again, for information only. Are there any questions on that? The final item on the agenda for finance this evening is FPT 03, and that's the fundraising report for fundraisers that have been submitted and approved to date. We are requesting that this be placed on the consent agenda for the September board. Are there any questions on fundraisers submitted?
Are there any questions about any of those items? Or is the fundraising? I have a motion from the board to place it on the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that that we place the items on the consent agenda for finance.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yes.
George Archuleta,
Yes, ma'am.
Virginia Houston,
Yes.
Ann Pereza,
Yes.
Rodney Walton,
Yes.
and Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Thank you. And is Ms. Wilkins here today? She's not. Okay. All right. You had an opportunity to look at the maintenance report that was submitted by Ms. Wilkins. Are there any questions or concerns about that? And Dr. Parker will address those if there are.
Just point out a couple of things in there. We did spend a lot of August, well, summer really, but particularly August and September working on HVAC issues. Excuse me, and the team really did very well on that. The most probably recognizable issue we worked on was when the AC went out of sheet on the first and second floor of the store building. But it took us a couple days to get that going, but actually worked out very well based on having to work apart and the work that needed to go on with that. So we moved really quickly on that one. Pasquotank Elementary is the other example where really we're able to get that HVAC running. We still have some work to do on the media center there, but that's in progress, and that requires the bid that we're going to post for the contract to finish that. So that was a big one there. We've also pushed some smaller repairs. We noticed the leak that was ECMS in the dining area. So some things that's fall into that small category, but those are really the big ticket items right there. So we just continue to knock on wood that these factors hold us down to. We also did fill some holes in some parking lots. So a feature is an example of that. The hole that we filled, before parking lot and patched there. So some of those things have happened in some as well. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. Marlene's headed to a conference, Ms. Wilkins, so that's the reason.
You mentioned parking lot. Where are we on the other repairs or the joint venture we were trying to get with the state?
Yeah, for the Northeastern, I know that was one of those. We submitted that and the bid went out. We submitted that. We moved the capital.
We've paid our portion of it, so we are on the schedule. So I don't know the exact date of when they're going to do the parking lots, but that was all the parking lots that were on the list. So that was Northeastern, Pasquotank County, North Side, Sheep Harney, and then Central Elementary, the last little piece of that drive. So
ECMS, that you on ECMS, we fixed that. The one we kept patching on the driveway going back to ECMS.
I don't know that was on that list. I know what you're talking about, but I will double check on that and see. We submitted everything we had to. It goes to DOT's board next. And then once they approve it, then, we'll have a schedule, I would imagine, that we can share with you on where we're at. So our stuff was due in Raleigh by the 20th and it made it on time. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
And they're paving all those areas, those parking areas, correct, at the schools? Is staff parking, student
Yes,
parking?
bus
everything?
parking on
Bus
those
parking.
schools,
Okay.
it's all inclusive. In fact,
Everything's included, okay.
Did we ever get the numbers back to that? Because I know we didn't have the exact numbers on that before. Did we ever get them? I know I was out a couple of times.
we have an estimate. That's all that DOT will provide us is an initial estimate. The total estimate for the project for all the parking lots is 1.1. So, but once it's completed, what they do is they'll give us then the final itemized bill. And if there's any difference, they'll refund it. Or if there's any overage, they bill us for the difference. It's like an account. It's an AR agreement with DOT is what they call it.
Okay. I remember we talked about it and we didn't have numbers.
Yep, I can give
Before
you
they
the
bring back
final,
numbers to us,
right,
you know,
I can
yeah,
give you the
so-
final estimates. If we don't have them, we can share those with you. I can tell you what DOT, I don't have it right this minute in front of me, but we do have what they submitted to us as their final amount, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions about that report? Now we're gonna move on to the policy committee. We had something on the table from the last meeting. The board of trustee policy, the changes that were made in that. And Chair Houston, would you like to?
I'm
address
just gonna
that?
read the last modification. In addition to this posted notification, we're gonna post it. Okay. In addition to this posted notification, there will be a posted list of trustee expectations taken from the College of the Albemarle's Board of Trustees Bylaws Manual, Section 4, page 19, as well as a link to the manual in its entirety. Candidates are strongly encouraged to review these documents before submitting a letter of interest. So that's what we sent in. Oops. I can't do this. And then this was the second thing. Trustees who serve 2 consecutive full terms will be eligible for reappointment if such trustee is interested in continuing his or her appointment and in turn has been requested to serve by the president and board of trustees at COA. And those were the changes.
Thank you very much.
Those were the modifications that we made.
Right, we need to,
Are there any questions? Thank you, that's it.
All right. I need a motion to, approve that policy as read.
Should I approve the revisions to the policy? COA trustee.
And the second,
Second.
and we need a roll call vote.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yes.
Georgia Shaletta.
Yes.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Pam Pereza. Yes. Rodney Walton.
Yes.
Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to call Dr. Williams to take us into closed session. Thank you. I had it up, yeah. Starts at the, and gotta flip it over.
I motion for the board to go into closed session as allowed by NC General Statute 143 through 318-11A6 for the purpose of considering one or more personnel matters that are confidential under NC General Statute 114C through 320 and as allowed by the NC Statute 143 through 318-11A3 to consult with the board attorney regarding matters protected by the attorney-client privilege and to preserve that privilege. And the board will resume open session live stream following the closed session.
Thank you. And a second for
I
that, please.
second it.
And a roll call vote.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yeah.
Georgia Shaletta.
Yeah.
Virginia Houston.
Yes.
Pam Pereza.
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
And Daniel Spence.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Fuller. Yes.
Yes.